Well, time is flying here. We're in our 4th class, and we only got one more class next week. And I just want to give you a little preview of what we're going to do next week. It'll be your opportunity to ask me any question you want, and also we're going to introduce English, okay? Because we can't really finish an entire class without talking about English. And you notice I've kind of left it for the last day, and there's a good reason for that. Because generally people overuse English. You know, if you watch YouTube and professional players play, they use English, but generally they use less English than more, because they know the impact and the effect of English on the cue ball and even the object ball. So it creates a lot of complexity to the game of pool that's not necessary, okay? All right, today what I want to do is I want to talk about a little bit about what Jim talked about. And by the way, I want to thank Jim personally for his help last week. I really appreciate his sitting in for me. But I want to talk just a quick amount about what he covered on position play as reviewed. Now you notice I have the ball set up here, and I'll put the object ball there. And let's see, let me find an 8-ball. Yeah, here it is. I'll put it down here. Now, Jim talked a little bit about the tangent line, and I just want to make sure everybody understands that. Let me get a little, I call it a tangent line finder, all right? Now, when I shoot this 5-ball, I want the cue ball to follow the tangent line. So really, all I have to do here is point the arrow right at the pocket, like that. And I can see the arrow pointing over here is a 90-degree line, right? That's the tangent line. So if I hit a stun shot, which is the cue ball sliding to this point, it will always take that 90-degree line, okay? Angle in, angle out should go about the 2nd diamond towards the 8-ball, okay? Now that's really important, and I know I've mentioned several times, that's kind of your starting point in playing position. And then you can think of different ways to beat the tangent line. Like with backspin or draw, the cue ball is going to hit way up here. If I hit a rolling ball with follow, it's going to hit right here. And the amazing thing about that is just with draw, stun, and follow, you can change the direction of the cue ball drastically, you know, without using a lot of English. But one of the things that I want to cover in this class before we finish is that when you're playing position, you always want the cue ball to go into the line of the next shot. Okay? Here's the way a lot of people shoot the shot, and this is the incorrect way, okay? They think to themselves, oh, I don't have that much angle, I can just draw it right to here. Well, let's see what happens with the draw. I'll go ahead and put some backspin on it. Now, why was that a bad way to shoot it? I mean, it went close, right?
You wind up behind it.
Okay. Now, look at the margin of error I had. It had to come in a window of about 6 inches to have a good shot. Here is bad, and here is bad. Okay? Now, the correct way to shoot the shot is simply what? How should I hit the cue ball here? The correct way to get position on the 8. Anybody?
No English?
No English, that's correct.
Just a little bit, well, actually a little.
Stun. Good
Stun.
job, Nyla. Stun, which means the cue ball will be sliding into the 13. It'll follow the tangent line, angle in, angle out, towards the line of the next shot. Okay?
It's actually sliding just about half the distance to the object ball before it
Right.
starts rolling.
And that's where I wanted to go into this 2nd diamond, into the line of the next shot. Okay. That first one I had too much backspin on. But look at the margin of error I had. I could have stopped here. Here, all the way to there. So you have, it's a more high percentage way of playing position. Let me show you one other example of that. let's say that I'm playing a game of 8-ball now, and I have the 14 as my last ball. All right, how do I play position on the 8? By going into the line of the 8 and not across it. Oh, no. Good job, Nyla. That's exactly correct. Here's the way a lot of people do shoot this, the incorrect way. They might try to stun it and see what happens. And then cross the line, didn't it? In other words, the margin is right here to get position. The correct way to shoot that shot is follow, is not set. Now in this case, the tangent line is here, but I'm going to beat it to there with follow rolling ball. It's going to come back to the rail here, and then into the line of the 8-ball. Now this is big in league and tournaments, because when you play correct position, you'll be amazed how much easier your shots are. So I'm just going to hit a high rolling ball like this. Into the line of the next shot. Look at how much room I've had to get good on it. Okay. All right, that's about it for that. And you know what the tangent line is, and that's something I put on each table if you'd like to practice a few of those shots. All right? Any questions about that? Your wheels are spinning, Chuck. What?
How's your accuracy on, say, hitting that same shot, but using draw and just drawing it up into the line and going down it? Let's see it.
Draw is
You
the
get such a better shot by using the follow if you go in the side. I'll take a side shot anytime.
all right. Draw is the least reliable
Okay.
by far.
Okay.
It's much easier to
Yeah,
roll the ball and control it. The reason that is because when you're drawing the cue, you need more stroke. When you apply more stroke to the shot, it's a lot more difficult to get precisely where you want to get.
Quite. I see.
Yeah. So, I would say that a draw shot is important for playing position, but sometimes some people like it just because it's fun to make the ball come back.
They just like to watch it roll backwards.
It's a sexy shot, right?
Yeah, but I've done it and actually got too much drive right into the hole.
Right. Yeah. And I was giving Nyla a lesson yesterday, and we were working on her draw shot, and she was doing real good. She was drawing it about a foot or 13 inches or so, but yet she thought to herself, well, that's not enough. I want it to go farther. Very rarely do you need to draw the ball a long distance. Usually it is like a 6 to
Clutch shot.
Yeah.
It's your
Because
only option.
a lot of times you have to draw inside windows and things like that. All right, here's the drill in your handout that I think you'll like. I recently put this on Facebook. You might have seen it. I had all 15 balls lined up here and then across like that. I call it the L drill. And the idea of the L drill, I'm going to do a simpler version now. We can start out with 3 balls. But this is something I'd like you to practice. The beauty of this drill is that it can be very simple and straightforward, or it can be very complex. First way, we'll just start on the spot, and I'll practice running these 3 balls out. Now, if you hit another ball, you have to start over. All right? So it's pretty easy. I could just make the 3 very simply, and I want to get a good angle on the floor, like that. And I actually hit that a little bit hard, but instead of following it, I'm just going to draw it back a few inches, like that, and then make the 6. Now, that's the easy version of the L drill. Now we're going to get more complex. You'll notice I'm going to move the balls out a little bit now. And we're going to use 5 instead of 3. Now it gets a little harder, doesn't it? All right? Now in this particular drill, I'm going to try to make the 5, then the 11, then the 13, then the 8, then the 10 without touching another ball. So it requires that I get position on each ball, going up from the end rail and then across to the side rail. So like a shot like this, I need to get on this side of the 11. And then when I make the 11, I need to get on this side of the 13 and on down the line.
You don't start off on spot on this one?
No, no. In fact, let me just go through this real quick. So I got a good position on there. Now if I make the 11, I just need a rolling ball. I want to get pretty straight on the 13. Now since I got to this side of the 13, I'm going to have to hit a high ball so I hit the rail and come out like that. So what you're doing on every shot is you're playing position on the next ball. Now on the 8 ball, I need a little bit of draw, don't I? Because if I stun it, I'll hit the rail and come way over here. So I want to beat the tangent line on this, so I'm going to use a little bit of draw, and I'm not going to take a long stroke. That way I can be straight in like that. And, all right, now let's take those 5 balls. You're more advanced. Like Chuck, you could do this. Let's put those 5 balls out here again. Now another way to do this, instead of going up from the end rail to the side rail in order, this time, Chuck, you're going to have to make them in rotation. I'm going to have to go from the 1
to the 2,
to the 2, to the 12, to the 14, and to the 15. And that is a really huge jump. So I encourage you all, it's on your handout, you know, to try that. In fact, I need to give you your...
I got one.
You got one?
I need to get
All right.
that-
Oh,
that
it's
one?
right over there. Yeah.
If you'd be here on time, Mark,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have it.
It's all right.
I had to make coffee.
And the thing I want to encourage you to do,
Chuck's the foreman.
Yeah.
I can make this as tough and complex as you want. Because like I said on Facebook, I did a 15-ball algebra. And I'll just show you really quick what it was like. But you can keep expanding out like this. And then you come all the way across like that. And I'm just going to show you what it was like. So what I did is I started with the 14, and if you look on my Facebook page, you'll see it. I make all the balls starting from the 14 up to the 10, and then all the way across to the side rail without touching another ball. And when you can do that, you've really attained what I call mastery of the cue ball. And if you talk about what makes a good pool player, it's mastery of the cue ball. Let's start with 3 balls. You can either make them from the bottom rail to the side rail, then you can make them in rotation, then expand to 5 balls, and then 10 balls, and then, you know, as far as you want to go. All right, any questions about that drill? And every shot you've learned in this class you will utilize in this drill. Stun, follow, draw, you name it. Because you're going to get in interesting positions. But you know, again, next week we're gonna start doing English, so I'm saving that for the last class. And I forgot to tell you, next week we're gonna have a short rack 8-ball tournament. All right? Do you know what short rack 8-ball is? Anybody? It just means that we're gonna rack it like 9-ball, but there are gonna be 4 solids, 4 stripes, and an 8-ball. And we will play BCA rules. Because a lot of you are already used to that. In APA, I think some of the rules are a little bit funky, in my opinion. But anyway, we'll have a lot of fun with that, and we'll give prizes and things for, you know, the people. Last year we videotaped the finals, and I guess it was Willie and somebody else. The other guy beat him, right?
Yeah.
All right, next. Now I've been waiting a long time to teach this. And it's one of my favorite things to teach because it's so important. Almost of the people in here play 8-ball and league, don't you? And the thing that I see a lot when I watch league is I notice people ignore obvious shots that they could shoot. All right?
Playing safety's too much.
Yeah. Now, what I mean by that is a lot of times two balls are frozen together like this. All right? Now, if I could get everybody to stand over there, you can see it better. We're going to talk about combinations here. Now, you'll notice that you could look at this and you think, well, how in the world could I ever miss this shot, right? Because they're both frozen together, lined up straight in the pocket. Chuck, is it possible to miss this?
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Shoot it straight on.
All right. Now, how could I make that the 7 ball so it doesn't go in?
You got to throw it.
All right. If I hit the left side of the 3, I want you to watch what the 7 does. Not even close, right? Did that surprise anybody? All right. All right, let's try it from the other side. This time, I'm going to hit the right side of the 3. And notice that they are frozen together. And I'm going to hit about a half ball hit. All right, so you can miss those shots. But let's see how that knowledge of what you just saw can be utilized for other shots, okay? Now, this is something I talked with Mark about the other day. We're going to aim the 7 and the 3, again frozen, to the far, about 2.5 inches to the left of the pocket. And my cue ball is located here. All right, Mark, what side of the 7 do I hit so I throw the 3 in the pocket?
Left side.
Excellent. He's a good listener. All right. Now, what's happening here, so you know, is the cue ball's hitting this side of the 7, okay? Like gears, it turns the 7 from left to right, which throws the 3 to the right. Same thing if I hit the right side of the 7, it turns the 7 like that and throws the 3 to the left. Now, these shots in a game of 8-ball come up almost every rack, all right? So you need to know those principles. So on this shot, I'm going to hit the left side of the 7, and it should go directly in the pocket.
So when they're touching each other,
Yeah.
the maximum throw is about 2 to 3 inches from that distance.
Well, that's a great question. Now, let's move the combination back a little bit. When you're this far away from the pocket, I can aim it farther to the left. Now, you'll notice the 7 is now like 4 inches to the left of the pocket. Now, if you stand behind the pocket, watch how much the 7 will throw from a longer distance.
English on the board.
No English. I'm just going to hit the left side. Okay, good. And again, you notice I didn't hit it hard. I hit it soft. The softer you hit it, the more throw you get. The harder you hit it, the less throw you get. Okay? Now, here's a couple of other instances that come up all the time. Let's say you've got the 11 and the 10 aimed to that side of the pocket, but your 9 is in the way of your cue ball. All right. So what do I do in this situation? It's actually a fairly easy shot, but which side of the 11 does the 9 have to hit to throw the 10 in the pocket? The right side. So watch the speed I hit, and if I hit the right side of the 11, I should be able to make this fairly easily. So when you're playing 8-ball, keep an eye out for that. It's really important. Here's another shot that comes up all the time.
Should ask you,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
You pretended that you have stripes, right?
Yeah.
But solid was in between. Is it okay to hit solid?
Good question. In BCA rules, let's say you have the 5 and the 6 lined up a little to the right, and you have a stripe here and a solid here. Now, if I hit the stripe and I already have established solids, it would be a foul and ball in hand. Because you got to make a legal shot on your group, whether it's stripes or solids. But if I have this situation, I can hit the 2 ball into the 14 and it'll still be okay because I'm hitting one of in my group. So that is.
Okay, you want us to do it.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Oh, I know, with the one.
All right, on this one, yeah, let me make sure I got it. All right, I'm going to hit the 2 a little bit to the left of the 14, so the 14 hits over there. Actually, this is not an easy shot when you have all these balls lined up like that. And you notice that ball was lined up about right here, but since I hit that side of the frozen combination, it's still in there. Now the next question is, what happens if there's a little space between the two? Let's say I've got a 1/16 of an inch between the 2 and the 5, about like that. You notice that now you can still throw it, believe it or not. But you can't throw it quite as much if there's a little space. Now you can see from this shot that the 5-2 are aimed a little bit left of the pocket. Let me change it just a little bit. There. Okay, that's perfect. And it's about a 1/16 of an inch. The 2 is aimed to this side of the pocket. Now, by doing the same thing here, I don't want to cut it like this and try to make a 2. I'm actually going to hit it on the left side again. And the 5 ball is going to turn like that and throw the 2 to the right, even with a 1/16 of an inch between it. Notice how much that threw. It was outside the pocket like dead center. So if it's within a 1/16 or even a 1/4 of an inch, it'll still throw. One last combination shot, and then I'll take some questions. A lot of people get this shot, and they don't know what to do. Let's say I have stripes in a game of 8 ball, and let me get it there. And I have this shot, and they're looking and said, well, I can't really hit the left side of the 9, so I can't make this. Is this shot makeable? What do you think?
Yeah,
How do I make it?
I think you would almost do it like if it was just by itself.
Well, how would that
I would
go?
hit it right about in the center of this 9 ball.
All right.
But it's not, maybe not.
Well, it's
If it
aimed,
was-
it's aimed to the rail like this.
Yeah.
Now, if I hit this side, it'll throw the 11 that way, right?
Yeah. So maybe you would have to hit it a little bit right of center,
Okay.
right about maybe
All right.
there.
All right, we'll consider that. What? Anybody else have an opinion on that? Don't stand in front of the camera. That's all right. No, it's fine, Steve.
You bounce off the rail.
Yeah. Dave got it. The proper way to make the shot, because it's required that I hit that side of the 9 to throw the 11. Stand behind the pocket and watch what the 11 does. And what I'm going to do is hit the rail first here. Going straight in. By hitting the rail first, I hit the left side of the 9, which made it throw. So there was an example of a simple shot that a lot of us don't see. And those come up a lot.
A lot of us never made that shot.
Oh, okay. All right, any questions about combinations?
I saw a
Yeah.
video last night.
Yeah.
It was a tournament that's, I guess it's a famous 8-ball tournament. I forget the name of the tournament, but Efren Reyes was playing a Finnish guy named, well, I don't know his name.
Mika Eminen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
they
the
call
Fin-
him the Iceman.
Yeah, that's Mika Eminen.
Okay,
Yeah.
the Iceman had a combination shot. I don't know. He had the 1-5,
Yeah.
and he did a combo, and they both wound up like right like that.
Okay.
He missed the shot,
Okay.
and it screwed him up for the whole tournament. Because then Efren Reyes just ran rack after rack.
That's why they call him the magician.
Efren, a lot of people believe was the greatest player that ever
Oh,
played.
I've
Yeah.
watched many
Yeah.
videos. I
Okay,
agree,
yeah.
100%.
Oh, I agree too. I saw him in 1985.
And
when
he
he was
does
at
it,
his
he does
prime.
it so fast. I mean, he'll do these
Yeah.
3 bankers, and he doesn't. He just walks up and almost makes the shot. I mean, just without a lot of calculation or.
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing about Efren that'll explain why he's so good. You know, in his
He's a
early,
savant.
he's a savant, absolutely, but also in his early years,
Yeah.
he would be on the pool table 8, 9 hours a day. I mean,
Oh.
every tournament he went to, when he wasn't playing, he was playing, practicing. Just like Shane Van Boney, he's just like that today.
Who?
Shane Van Boney, who's our best American player right now. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But it's even when you have amazing talent, doesn't mean you can still win tournaments. You have to have the desire and passion to really work at it, even when you're a great player.
Yeah.
Because you always learn. And I still learn now. I'm 71 years old. I'm still learning.
He did this shot. I've made it 5 times, but I've shot it hundreds of times. He hit it right there. He had a ball sitting right here.
Right. That's on
And there was a
YouTube.
bunch of balls right here. He couldn't just directly shoot it. He hit that tip and it went down.
It hugged the rail all the way down. I
Yeah,
saw
you seen that?
Now, I'm not even going to try to shoot that shot. That's a really hard shot.
That's a luck shot.
All right. Anything on combinations before we go to a few banks? Anything else on
Our
that?
combinations, I try to avoid them.
All right. Now, the other kind of combination is the ones that are where they're separated in some way. There is a little bit of a secret to this. Let's say the one doesn't pass and I have this shot. Well, you know, one thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get behind the 1 like it's the cue ball. It's exactly on the 5 where I need to hit. And then I can even look at through the 1 ball to all the way to the rail. And that's what a lot of people do. They aim at that spot on the rail. And that's one way to do it. So I'm seeing the 1 as my cue ball, making the 5. Then I follow it all the way to the rail. Then I get down,
Easy shot then. You just said it.
get down on the 1 like this. And combinations are tough. They are tough. Even a simple one like that could
But
be
you
good.
just shot it straight on the 1 ball, as if it was just
Yeah.
the simplest shot in the world.
Yeah. But you know, those take a lot of practice, but there's no real big secret to those kind of combinations. You just have to be very precise. Yeah, go ahead.
Is carom shot considered a combination shot?
It's not considered a combination shot. It's something unto itself. In fact, Jim Hendrickson, that was here last week, is a champion carom player. He's a 3-cushion player. Now, what Niall is asking about is this shot. Let me say we have a situation like this. Let me put the 15 about like that. All right, you'll notice that on this shot, the 15, well, let me get it a little bit about like that. Yeah, there we go. The 12 ball is a hard shot. But another way to make this is if I carom off the 15 and then hit the 12. So in a situation like this, the way I calculate the shot to make the 12 by caroming off the 15, imagine a ghost ball right on the 15. And I use the ghost ball as a cue ball. That allows me to know exactly where I need to hit the 15 in order to make the 12. So, you know, watch how thin I hit the 15, which will allow the cue ball to carom right into the 12 perfectly to make the 12. There, tough shot. Here's another one like that.
With a little English, would you carom better?
Well, you know, everybody always asks me, well, why didn't I use English on that shot? That just makes it that much harder. All right, you want to be as accurate and precise as you can. And I know English is fun too, just like draw, but you know, a lot of, here's another example. Let's say I don't really have an open shot at the 15 or the 9. So instead of playing a safety or something, I can see that if I hit the 15, it will carry right into the 9 and make it inside. In fact, here's the tangent line. If I stun it, is right to make the 9 just like that. So I imagine a ghost ball right there. There's the tangent towards the 9. So I'm going to put nothing but stun on this. Hit the 15 slightly on the left side. Like that. And I just barely made that. It was a tough shot. Here's another example of that. I don't really have a shot here, do I? Because the 1 is too thin. And I'm going to look where I need to hit the 4 in order to make the 1. So I'm going to carom off the 4 to make the 1 on the side. Again, I'm going to use a stun shot because I want the cue ball to go a perfect 90 degrees. Those are carom shots, okay? And they take a lot of practice. Now, if you use draw or follow, it's going to change the direction of the cue ball. That's why I hit stun shots each time, because I wanted to be able to predict exactly where the cue ball is going. All right, I guess we're spending a lot of time here. You want to do some banks, or do you want to get on the table right now?
Banks.
Banks, okay. We're going to start off with a basic one. And when I do banks, I also do kicks at the same time, okay? So we're going to imagine that I'm in a situation like this. I'll put it about right there. And I want to win a game of 8-ball, okay? All right. Now, obviously I can't directly make the 15 ball, but I can make it by kicking into the rail, one rail, and then come and make it like that. And you're wondering, well, how do you calculate exactly where on the rail you need to hit? All right? And we're going to use the same system when we learn banks as well as kicks. Now, it's a simple system, and it's really accurate, okay? We could use numbers and make it real complicated and all that, but this is really all you need. Now, if I want to make that 15 ball, the first thing I think about is I want to know the midpoint between the cue ball and the 15. So, I can do this just by watching, but I'm going to use my finger to show you exactly what I'm doing. Now, I need to draw a line of the 15 ball straight across the rail like that. All right? In other words, I want to hit slightly this side of the 15, so you'll notice it's like that. All right? Now the next step is just swing my cue to the midpoint between the 15 and the cue ball. Now, in order to make the 15 now, all I have to do is hit the cue ball on a parallel line. I've bisected the angle. So I'll lift my cue up and go like this. That's the spot on the rail I need to hit. About 2.5, 3 inches to the left of the diamond. All right, let me do it one more time. Make sure you got it. Where do I want to hit the 15? I go straight across from side rail to side rail. Swing it to the midpoint right there. Now hit the cue ball on a parallel line. So I'm about 2.5, 3 inches to the left of that spot. And all I have to do is use no English. I'm just getting a nice, smooth, rolling ball. Okay. That is an accurate system. You will always hit the ball. Okay. And everybody got that? You want me to go through that one more time? Or? All right. All right. Now, banking is very similar to that. Let's say that I have a bank like this. I'll put the 3 here. And I'm going to try to win the game again. Here, we've got a game ball. All right? All right, we're going to use the same system that we just used. In other words, I want to find the midpoint on this one between the pocket and the ball I'm trying to bank. So that midpoint would be about right here. All right? Does that look about accurate? Pretty accurate? All right. Now, I take my cue and line it up to the center of the pocket there. And again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to parallel shift and see exactly where I need to hit the 3 on the rail. So I'll move it over like this. Hey, it's almost the exact same spot as the kick, right? Now that step is real important. And I can lay my cue like this and swing it to the midpoint like that, and then parallel shift. And that's really all you have to do. So if I hit about 2.5 segments to the left of the diamond, I should make the 3. And then I can make the 8 to 1. All right? Let me do it one more bank, because that is kind of complicated. You guys want to see one more?
Yes.
All right. All right. Same thing here. We're going to find the midpoint between the pocket and the 9 ball, which is right there. I go across to the other side pocket. Notice how it lines up to the center of this pocket. Now to bisect the angle, I just parallel shift. Lift it up. And it's about 2 inches right of that diamond. And again, I don't need any English. I'm going to hit a nice, smooth, rolling ball. And that's a really good system for banking. And it can get a lot more complicated because those are straight banks. When you get into cut banks, we're not going to get to those in this class. That's more advanced.
Or 2 or 3 rail.
No, but I'll be more than happy today if you want to practice those banks and combinations, explain them, whatever's needed. All right, the last thing, and this, I promise this is the last thing. I know we're doing a lot, but the class is almost over, so. Ball in hand. Most of you are league players, right? Nyla's not, or I don't think Dave is, but it's a huge boon for you if you know how to play the right patterns for ball in hand. And I was doing this with Nyla the other day, and we were imagining playing, well, we were just doing it with 1 ball, but you just take 2 balls and throw them out on the table like this. All right? And in this particular ball in hand exercise, we're simply going to make the solid and then win the game on the neat ball. Okay? Several ways we could shoot this. Probably the easiest way on this particular shot is just play a simple cut like this, like that, so I get a straight-in shot of the 8. Nothing too difficult. Now, I would keep doing that until I could run both balls maybe 4 or 5 times in a row. Then what I would do is I would take 2 solids in an 8 ball and throw all 3 on the table. Then I'm going to get ball in hand again. And as you notice, as I put more balls on the table, this becomes more challenging. Now, this is a really interesting situation. I really kind of like it. Anybody have an idea which ball I should shoot first?
5 in the side and then a 6 up.
Okay. Not a bad idea. Anybody else?
6, 5.
Steve, I'll go with your recommendation. The reason why is because it's a lot easier to shoot the 6 and get a nice angle on the 5 so I can go down to the 8. Now, if I made the 5 first, it's okay. But what will I have to do to get to the 8? I have to draw it or follow it. Yeah. So the proper shot would be to set the cue ball in hand right here. Because I want just a little bit of angle on the 5 so I can get down to the 8. So I'm just going to hit a nice little stop shot. Now I've got a beautiful angle on the 5, and if I hit a follow rolling ball, I should come in somewhere right there for a nice shot on the 8. Not bad. Fast table though, right? Do I have to shoot this one too?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, see, I'm a little bit.
You gotta bank it back where the cue ball.
Oh no, I'm not going to bank it. But a bank is a last resort. But I think I'll just play the 8 in the corner pocket. I was worried about the scratch, that's why I hit it hard.
I was gonna say, can you scratch it?
Well, if I would have hit that softer, I would have scratched, but because I hit it harder, I avoided the scratch. All right, but that's another drill I'd like you to practice on your own whenever you're practicing. Put 3 or 4 balls in the 8-ball on the table and practice ball in hand. Because when you play league, Mark, at an average night of league, how many ball in hands would you get normally?
Do I get
Yeah.
1 or 2?
Okay. Now that's 1 or 2 games that you might win that you otherwise wouldn't,
I
right?
get 4 or 5 though.
All right. All right. All right. Anything else? Well, I guess we're done. Let's go ahead and partner up, and I'll be coming around.
Just shooting over balls or off the rail.
Wait, what's that?